it's a lot, man. And I feel for you because you don't want them to see dad angry or upset or hurting over their mom, because then they'll start to pick apart. They'll pick a side. We're like, well, you're not going to hurt my dad. It makes it chaotic. You know what I mean?
Can for sure. Luckily, like I said, I don't talk about their mom at
Yeah.
all. And when we're together, even though trust me, even though I can't stand her, I would never create any drama or anything like that. It's like, hey, give your mom a hug and a kiss, and
Yeah. Yeah.
and like, don't worry, you're gonna see her in a day or two. Like I'm always extremely polite and respectful,
Right. That's
as
good
much as
though.
I don't want to be. But
And it's single fathers often feel connected to their children, and they build incredibly strong bonds. They defy societal expectations and prove that dads can be just as nurturing as moms. But single fathers often face a lack of support systems that are more readily available for mothers. Work-life balance can become even more difficult without a partner to share those responsibilities. And I know you've seen this happen, because if you show up in a line, like, some kind of welfare or, government milk, or they're going to give your kid vaccinations, they look down on you because you're the father and not the mother. So have you experienced anything like that when you're trying to get the services you need to raise your children?
that's actually an interesting topic. So luckily, I mean, I make enough to provide, so that's okay.
Right.
Um, but no, I've never experienced anything like in that respect. But what I
Okay.
will say is, gosh, I forgot I was going to go with this.
You're fine.
People do kind of look down on you. Like I understand that societally, mothers get that nurture.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, if you're the guy in that line,
Hmm.
you they look at you like you're the bum.
Yeah, like, what the fuck are you doing here, right? Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, like what's the matter? You can't provide, you can't do this, you can't do that.
Yeah.
But I've actually received a ton of support. Anytime I talk to anyone about my story,
Hmm.
uh, honestly, people are there. So no,
Yeah.
I don't get judged because you know what? I am the guy at the grocery store with my two sons in the car.
Yeah. No, you're a good dad, man. I know that about you for sure. But
Yeah. So
yeah.
I don't really feel like I get judged or anything, but I totally don't get me wrong. There was a time where, especially when the child support kicked up,
Yeah.
I was that I was that guy that was going to the church and going to the food bank and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Shit.
And it's a very humbling experience,
Right.
but
I remember when
it's
yeah, I mean, it was like when it was me and my mom and my brother, I was always in the lines, in the welfare lines with my mom, making sure we had the turkey, the butter, the cheese, and that shit was good, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. I had no qualms. I was in that fucking line. Yeah.
not. But what I will say though is the hardest thing about being a single dad and
Yeah.
the custody schedule is I have had to pass up so many jobs
Yeah.
because I have to have one kid at school at one time, the other kid at school at the other time,
Yeah.
so like, I'm not available till let's just say like 9:30 a.m.
Right.
But they need you at the office or the job site or whatever by 6 a.m. I'm like, guys, I can't do it. Like
Yeah.
my kids, like, sorry. So I've had to pass up a lot of jobs. That is the hardest part of everything. Like
Yeah.
the kids, all good. It's all about having a routine with the kids.
Yeah.
But work wise, the work life balance
Hmm.
becomes exponentially more difficult.
Yeah, I mean, because you pass up money, opportunities. I'm not saying it's a bad thing because it's going to your kids and you're a devoted father, but it just really throws a curveball into what your potential could be if you were always free and ready to accept good work. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, because that's what we did is, I would work nights, she worked days, but it worked because, like
yeah,
we would pass the kids off to each other.
right. Now, let me ask you an interesting question. I was just thinking of. Do you find it harder in the dating life for a single father who has two children, because you'd have to go out there, find someone who you get along with, and then they'd have to know that, well, yeah, I have two children that I raise. Do you find that as a difficult way to parlay into new relationships?
I don't really bring my kids into the equation too often,
Okay.
but I find that if I am going to introduce someone to my children,
Yeah.
they're the radar. If my kids take to you,
Mhm.
then all right, there's a chance.
Yeah.
There's
Kids have a
whatever.
sense about them, so, they
Yeah, my kids are the radar. I'll tell you what.
oh, yeah.
I genuinely believe that if kids take to you, it's kind of like dogs.
Yeah.
Like if a
Animals.
dog likes you, like, hey, all right, you might be good people.
Yeah.
Uh, no, I've never brought a person into my house that after 15 minutes, if I introduce them to my kids, and
Mhm.
it takes a long time. I mean, that's not a life situation. That's
Right.
something you don't do right away. You're not like, hey,
No, that
Chris,
that
this is
takes
your new
time.
stepmom. Like, you don't do
Your new stepmother. Yeah.
you don't do things like that.
Right.
But I actually yeah, I have introduced my kids to women, and
Okay.
if it didn't if they didn't take to them right away,
Mhm.
then
Then you already know something's not right.
yeah, sorry, hey, like kids come first. And
Yeah. It's just like when people have animals, they say, "Oh, that's my dog doesn't like you. The dog stays. You gotta go." And I mean, it's
you
way more
can
for the
also
kids.
tell
Yeah.
though with people, ironically, this is like one thing I've also picked up on.
Mhm.
Some women are more nurturing, and
Yeah.
then other ones have no idea how to deal with children.
Oh,
And
yeah.
if it's too much for them, like they're
Mhm.
still in their party phase or this, that, whatever,
Yeah.
then like, hey, sorry, I have to be responsible. You seem
Mhm.
like a really sweet woman, but like kids come first.
Well, yeah, just like fatherhood isn't for everybody, isn't for every man, motherhood isn't for every woman. And you don't get like a how-to book on either one. So that's true, man.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's what I tell my ex that I don't mind if you start dating again. Like I'm over you.
Yeah.
That's neither here nor there.
Right.
But if you do start dating a man, I just want to take him out for a beer. Just
Yeah, I
one.
kind of want to know who this is.
Yeah, I want to
Yeah.
make sure I know who the guy around my son is. And if
Yeah.
he's a good guy, great. Like you said, it takes a village.
Yeah. Takes a
Like
village.
I'm not jealous and I'm over her. So like that's not the issue there.
Right.
It's more that I just want to make sure my sons are taken care of.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that another man would neglect your children and not take care of them, because if he's going to be in a woman's relationship and he knows she has children off the bat, he's got to make that decision. Like, am I father material? Can I help out? What can I do? And it's happened. And let me tell you, those guys are the best guys when it works out. Of course, I have a stepfather, so I mean, once it's good, it is pretty good. So I got to commend the stepfathers out there who take on other people's children. But let me ask, this is do you think that there's a concept where it's of a parenting is a gender role? Like, say for instance, the nurturing part is played by the woman and the aggressive part is played by the man. Do you think it should be like that, or should each person split the gender role with their kids?
Oh, absolutely split it. Absolutely.
Okay.
I don't think there's a single father on the planet that should not give their kid a hug and a kiss before bed. And I don't think that there's a single mom that should be afraid
Hmm.
to, you know, lay down the law.
Yeah. So
I
it's
mean,
yeah.
yeah, no, I totally think it should be split. Like
No,
I've never been the aggressor. And like I said, once you become a single dad, like you're filling both roles. So
you
it's
have
like,
to. Yeah.
yeah, it's
Hmm.
like go to your room, you're in timeout. And then 2 minutes later, you're like,
Come
oh,
here. I'm
I'm
sorry.
here, give me a hug. Like,
You're the softy dad. Let's go see Softy Dad.
and you know what the funniest
Uh-huh.
is, poor kids, man. They have no idea.
Yeah.
You send them to their room,
Uh-huh.
and they think you're pissed at them. They're upset. Y'all
Yep.
go out and you're just trying not to laugh because you're like, oh my god, that was so.
That was just so like how I was raised. I'm now turning into my dad, right? Like, good grief. Like, what is going on? No, I hear
Yeah,
you,
like
bro.
you think you're pissed at them,
Yeah.
and you're totally not. You have to raise your voice. Just I
Hmm.
don't know, establish dominance, and then after that, you're good.
Established dominance. What are they, predators? Like little apex predators running around? Probably. Yeah. So, what's a typical day like for a single dad like Jim? Let's be real.